Hi, my name's Quinton. I'm an award-winning professional youth mentor and the founder of MMAP Workshops. That's an acronym for music, mentoring, arts and poetry. We work closely with schools, colleges, charities and other youth organisations across the UK to help young people articulate their thoughts, their feelings, their worries and concerns through performing arts and creative writing. We recently collaborated with Jasmine and all of the team at Element Society to deliver a 3-day healthy relationship workshop to a group of young people at their HQ in Sheffield. We approached the subject with sensitivity and raised the issue of domestic violence. We also raised the issue of toxic relationships, understanding abusive behaviour, as well as coercion and controlling behaviour. The cohort they were honest, they were respectful, they shared personal insight and offered thoughtful input and opinions. MMAP Workshops invited the cohort to write about what they had learned and to share their views and to share their perspectives, importantly. We suggested a particular focus on who can be affected and how to recognise the early signs of abusive behaviour, narcissistic personality disorder, manipulation and gaslighting. After some writing exercises specifically designed to encourage creativity and break barriers, the cohort produced some heartfelt pieces. Across the 3 days, the group, they really gelled, and just when I thought they were might have been disengaging, they'd appear with emotive poems, mock letters and diary entries. Although the topic is one that should be taken seriously, I felt it was important to balance it out and celebrate healthy relationships too, not just with romantic partners, but with friends and other social groups. Some of their writing reflected that too, and I feel that we offered an opportunity for the young people to think about their, and process their social environment. It's a great way for them to consider their personal behaviour and to be aware of emotional intelligence and expectation and boundaries. With their permission, we've shared some footage of their sessions within this video, and together with audio and some visuals that truly do represent the conversation we had across the 3 days, some of which will be used as part of a podcast, and that will be shared with peers and others across digital platforms and further afield. All in all, it was a profound and emotive experience, but an enjoyable one, and I look forward to partnering with Jasmine, Element Society and young people again in the future.
Since the start of the Esteem project, I've learned that abuse can come in like many different forms and can show themselves at many different stages in a relationship. Just because there's not a sign of abuse at the beginning doesn't mean there's not a sign of abuse at the end. I learned about healthy relationships that they are like complex. There's not a single formula for a healthy relationship. Many of them have many different diversions that are different to another. So just because one person has a healthy relationship using a certain strategy or certain critique doesn't mean that type of critique will work in every friendship. I learned about unhealthy relationships that they come in seven like explicit different forms most commonly, but there's still even types of abuse that outlie them, and that domestic abuse isn't strictly illegal. It's benefited me because you come in here and you fit. It's not really in social norm, but it's still quite fun to do. And I treat everyone exactly as they treat me, sort of thing. So if they have a positive influence on me, I'll have a positive influence on them. But at the same time, if they're negative, especially after coming here, I will definitely just ignore them, 100%. I think my creative writing has slightly improved, mainly because there's like certain aspects of certain key features during my writing that have improved. But yeah, it has improved. I think my way that I show off my work or present it has slightly changed. I wouldn't say massively, because I've always been like fairly confident and outgoing with certain activities. So presenting it, all it is making, all this has helped me improve and make it more coherent when I'm saying certain things. The facilitator couldn't explain the task any better. It was very clear and easy to understand. I found working with Leo and Josh amazing, because I mean, look at Josh's chiseled jawline. I found working with Josh and Leo like fairly entertaining, especially their outgoing and charismatic persona. From the project in the future, should it be like refunded or anything like that, definitely actually delivering it to someone instead of just doing a podcast or something like that.
Well, the thing that I think that I've learned is probably how to, that I'm better at relationships than I was before. Well, what I learned about healthy relationships was, obviously if they're abusive, you end them, and how to end them and stuff. The thing that I learned about unhealthy relationships was that they can become a bit too much for someone, and it can cause a lot of mental issues for someone. Well, the way that I think the project has benefited me is that, like I said before, I feel like I'm, better at getting into a relationship and, trying to keep one. Yes, of course, I feel like I would treat people differently, but in a good way, because, I've learned how to manage with, my emotions and stuff. I don't think that my creative writing has improved that much, because, my writing is shocking, but, the actual writing itself, like the words in it, I think has, because I put more, inspirational things in it. I didn't know quite, some stuff before Quinton arrived, and he taught me quite a lot, and he's a very inspirational fella. Well, my favourite part of the project was recording it, because it gave me some experience and it made me more confident. Interacting with some people and obviously meeting, you guys, and yeah. Yes, of course I loved working with Josh. He showed me how to use the camera, and he's a handsome looking fella. I found it really good. He's a really nice guy, and he's easy to talk to. And he made me feel better about myself. If the Esteem project was refunded, I hope to achieve to, inform and let other people know about relationships and, and get through to them.
I've learned about different types of relationships. For healthy relationships, I've learned things like compassion. I've learned that in unhealthy relationships, people may not see toxic signs, and they might want to save the relationship. The project has benefited me because I've learned about relationships, which will help me in the future. I think it has improved, my creative writing has improved, because I don't really write that much, because it's not really needed in any of the work I do.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. My favourite part was making the podcasts. I enjoyed recording my poem, but I absolutely hated hearing my own voice.
So it's been an absolute pleasure to be working on the Esteem project with the wonderful young people. Not only have I hopefully imparted some knowledge on them about healthy relationships and unhealthy relationships, but they've given me an insight to what it's like to be their age and have to go through these things, you know, things like first relationships and teenage drama and things like that. I think we've come up with some really successful podcast episodes. We've come out with a fantastic workshop around domestic abuse. And we've come up with some incredible creative writing, working with MMAP workshops. The lads have absolutely enjoyed the sessions, and for me, being the only woman in the room, it's kind of been humbling to experience them as young men finding those deeper emotions and expressing themselves in that way. And yeah, it's just been an absolute pleasure to work with them, and Quinton and Josh and Leo. They're a great team to work with. You should hire them. No, I mean, I hope this project gets refunded and we can get the workshops out into schools that the young people have worked so hard to develop, because it's really quality work, and I am a strong believer in peer-to-peer education and better relationship and sex education in our current education system.
As you will have seen and heard, there were some absolutely heartfelt and emotive pieces submitted from the group as part of this project. The poems were honest, profound and sincere. Importantly, they demonstrated contemplation, consideration of others and reflection. The young people approached the subject with sensitivity and maturity, and I honestly couldn't be happy with the outcome. It was an absolute pleasure connecting with Quinn, Gino, Rohan, Anthony and Jasmine. And the MMAP Workshops team look forward to collaborating with Element Society again in the future.